Lovely to have you, Chanpreet, together with me.
Thank you.
First time we are speaking with each other. What's exciting wise about India? I saw a lot of young voices over there, different, diverse range, edgy, the way Shane and your creative director have pushed content all over the world, but it's more hygienic. Seems more hygienic compared to what they do overseas.
Okay, so thank you for having us here. I just wanted to say that this is Vice India. This is not Vice in India. This is a company that's run by 58 Indians, right from the top to the end. And we are creating content for the Indian youth with the Indian youth. What is Vice? It's an interpretation for us in every country. Vice is Vice News, Vice Studios, Vice Culture, but at the heart of it, it's a youth organization which has two very strong points which it never deviates from. Its ethos, which is we have no judgment. You can be anybody, you can do anything. We are just observers. We do not judge, and we approach it from an insider's point of view. We never come from the outside. So we have no judgment on the language, your sexuality, your lifestyle, your identity. We accept you.
So
and
it's
we are
the
a part of
alternative
it.
culture, in a way.
It is the culture.
Okay, not the alternative culture.
In
as it's-
fact, to be honest with you, I just want to share that, while everybody keeps talking about there is an oversupply of content and there isn't, enough storytelling, the reality is there is so much that we are not talking about. Like the point you made, is it too hygienic? No, I don't think so. I think we're just opening the conversation. Are we really talking about the conversations youth is actually having online? Are we talking about identity issues, whether it's LGBT, it's about sexuality, or are we talking about how difficult it is to be youth in India
No, but I didn't see
today?
any F word or B word or in that. Because a
Exactly.
lot of the Indian companies are going into a lot of F and B words.
That's fair enough. There's content for everything. We have
But that's
kept
what
it real.
Shane and the they were at it, man. They had to get at it.
Okay, so let me also then share with you how we create content. If you see, there isn't one language. We were talking about regional content, English content. This is India to us. Your first question to me was like, what is India for Vice? This is India. We have 13 languages people are responding, and we are not trying to alter the language. We didn't ask these people to use the F word or not use the F word. They spoke what they felt like. This is India. We are not going to alter how India
You've not
is
edited
responding.
you've not censored, edited anything that
No,
they said.
these are questions asked and they
Okay,
answered.
so you've
And
not chosen the right ones to give the hygienic
No,
feel.
you'll
for-
see other videos. You should see our other videos. And yes, there are people who are using a lot
Okay,
of words.
all right. I just wanted because
Yeah, and I also want to give you an example. We did a series called the Soxrated series. Is a 4-part video series which we released about 2 months ago. It's about sex education, porn addiction, BDSM culture, sex toy industry from the eyes of a woman,
wow,
panning across the country. It leaves
it was an
nothing to-
eye opener.
It leaves nothing to imagination.
Okay.
It tells you about all what you call the alternative culture is pretty much hardcore South Delhi culture, Fort Bombay culture, Banjara Hills, Hyderabad culture. Every part of the country. It's just that people aren't talking about it. There's so much room to talk about it.
Great.
So we're just
yeah,
being
yeah.
true to content.
Yeah, so you're starting your journey, I would
Yes,
say, which is what you
just a
told me.
few
You've got
months,
your,
yeah.
there's an in-house agency called Virtue, which works internationally. Then you have your Vice Studios. How are you going to start? You worked with Mountain Dew. What was that experience? I'd love to talk to you more about your video strategy, not just in terms of video and brands, but about video. But let's talk about brands and video, since that's what this is about.
Okay.
So Mountain Dew was an experiment, or was it a execution which was totally well planned?
You're telling a story on Kanchenjunga. You're actually traversing the third highest peak in the country, in the world.
And did Arjun win it? Because I know Arjun. Did Arjun climb that?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, not me.
Okay, wow.
Surely. Yeah, no, absolutely, he did. And for us, the biggest challenge was this was our first project in India. There's a lot of expectations. And there was plan A, B, C. He would submit, he would come back, he would come back without submitting, and he would not come back. And this was all being told real time over a period of 3 months, from prep to actually his return. So you were actually on ground working with the team. I think the success of brand videos, and coming back to the point, and I've been discussing this in great amount of detail with some of the guests in the audience, is that honestly, video and branded video has been there for 20 years, right? Television has aced
But
it.
that's been pretty, I mean, they've been shoving the brand in your face.
I know.
Yeah.
Correct. But that's advertising, okay?
Okay.
And then we talk about content. In our understanding, brands are great, have great brand love, okay? So please don't think that your audiences and the consumers do not want to be entertained by brands. There is no need to hide the brand. The brand can be absolutely at the forefront. So when Vice and Pepsi came together, it's actually one of the best brand partnerships that we've had. And we actually said Vice and Pepsi present, Kanchenjunga Calling. It made Pepsi a content brand. And there's no need to hide, because today a consumer knows that Pepsi is an enabler or a big endorser of adventure sport. Sure. And in that space. Similarly, the work that we did for Myntra, right? There was nothing Vice about it. It was actually all about Myntra and all about their loyalty program that we launched. And one of the important things...
But you skipped that. They paid a lot of top dollar, or you invested?
In what?
In Kanchenjunga. It's very high production values.
Yeah, it's very high production. So it's actually both parties came together. It was actually largely led by PepsiCo, and we invested a lot with our distribution channels.
Okay, not in the money part.
No, we...
Okay, fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's fully funded by...
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah. And so I was just giving an example of Myntra, which is a completely different example, where the brand said, I want to do something for my audiences. They own the app, they own the environment, and they actually created a loyalty program. They created great communication around it, called it communication, called it a great video which was meant to deliver a certain message, and used their app and integrated that with their entire program. And you can probably ask them later how it did.
Yeah, they're coming this afternoon, so we will ask them. So, you'll work with any brand, or will you refuse a few brands to work with them? Because...
So I'll be very honest with you. We were asked as Vice that would we do something in childcare hygiene. And we were like, no, we can't. Okay. We are a youth company. We are known as the Millennial Whisperers. 15 to 35 is our bracket. We do a great job of engaging with youthful audiences. We are true to our space. And there was another brand who worked, not a brand, an OTT platform with whom we are working. They're like, would you do a Shadi boot camp with us? And we're like, there's nothing Vice.
No, what about older people like me who are younger?
You're young.
Come on. So what about targeting?
See, there has to be. So okay, why do brands work with us? There's a style filter. There are insights that we have been using. There is an ability to create platforms. One of our biggest submissions, a humble submission to all brands, is that it's pretty risky to just invest in one piece of video. There is a brand tenant, and then there is a platform that you create of communication, sure. Whether it is a multi-platform communication strategy or whether it is a digital platform communication strategy. Let's work together on a long-term program, right? When you do that, you work with insights, you work with the style filter. If there is something that Vice can bring to it, sometimes it's just the style filter.
I understand.
And then we just create ads and we hand them over. But if we do truly engage as Vice and the brand, then it has to be in the youth space.
So would you also do music like they do in the US?
Of course. We're doing a really big music program coming up in this year with Budweiser. And we're creating a lot of experiences, and that's something that we're going to see in the coming year in a really big way.
Great. Now, do you think you're coming in a little late? Because there have been other players like DICE, and there have been players like TVF who've been in this space. Is the competition for brands to invest in video increasing, or is it, or do you think we just kind of not even started?
To be honest with you, I think everyone's doing a great job of creating the market. The market's not saturated, but I want to just take a step back and say this is the moment when we are facing the biggest crisis of information that we've ever seen. Okay, and this is the moment that Vice has always thrived in, where the youth is actually waking up to the power that they have, that they want to talk about their issues. I'm not talking about fiction. We're not doing fiction in India yet. We're talking about content that is reflective of the lifestyles, the issues of the youth, right? What matters to them. And it's just now, right? 18 months ago or 20 months ago is when content has really started seeing its own potential because data has become near free. I think the story's just started.
On brands also working with you.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's ever expanding. We're the youngest country we have. It's ever expanding. There's always a good time.
But would you also move towards commission shows on OTTs? Or
We're already doing that.
Okay.
We're already doing that. So you'll see some of our shows coming up early next year.
Fantastic. Commissioned by platforms where there's no branded videos.
Absolutely. So just so that we know, Soxrated was one series. Kabhi Sushi, Kabhi Shalgam is our next original series that is coming up on 5th of November. We are a premium IP-driven company, and we are investing in India with our premium IPs. And we are building a multi-platform distribution strategy. So you'll start seeing, I think with Kabhi Sushi, Kabhi Shalgam, which is our food show, you'd see it's a millennial food show.
But you're following the same, you're following food, same categories. You're not coming up with something, almost all the players have a food thing.
We're doing crime.
Okay.
So our crime series is coming in November again. We've just finished sex series. So I'm not sure we're conforming to, I'm not going to talk about food because it's done to death, because I have a take on it. From that perspective, if you see, music is done to death, food is done to death, but yet again, every year somebody comes with their own perspective on it. We'll always have the Vice filter to it.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Chanpreet. Thank you. I wish I had more time with you. It'd be fun.